So Ramaphosa's tough talk has backfired, and now the ANC is fighting itself. Today we're unpacking the backlash inside the ruling party, the insane new laws that could affect your next Uber trip, and Cape Town's new planning system that is flirting with AI. Plus, in the Wildcard, spring is painting the West Coast in color, but the clock is ticking. My friends, if you're enjoying the show, be sure to like and subscribe. And now, with all that out the way, let's get into it. Talk about blowback. As we reported yesterday, President Ramaphosa told ANC councillors to stop hiding behind excuses, start fixing service delivery, and even look to DA-run municipalities for lessons. Now, look, it was blunt and it landed, but the aftermath has been anything but orderly. So look, ANC councillors across the province say they were humiliated. Some argue that the president was right about the failures, but was wrong to say it in public, and especially wrong to name the DA just months before the local elections. Others, though, took it a step further, rejecting the remarks outright. You see, ANC Stellenbosch councillor penned an open letter to Ramaphosa, accusing him of trivializing ANC contributions and warned that the DA's clean audits mask irregular expenditure and corruption. Now, party structures elsewhere also rushed to defend them, arguing that councillors shouldn't be scapegoated for broader governance failures. Now, the DA, for its part, wasted no time turning this moment into campaign material, sharing caricatures of Ramaphosa in DA colors and welcoming his endorsement. Now, what was meant as a wake-up call has now become a public row and shows just how fragile unity is inside the ANC's local government ranks. So if you drive for Uber or Bolt, government now demands your personal details plastered on your car doors for the world to see. We're talking name, phone number, business address, all out in the open. So that's just one of a raft of these new e-hailing regulations. You see, within 180 days, every driver must apply for a proper operating license, and every vehicle must carry panic buttons inside. You see, the apps themselves have to issue live receipts, add heat maps, and log trips in real time. Failure to comply and drivers could face fines up to 100 grand. Even the platforms aren't off the hook. If they let unlicensed drivers operate, developers could face the same hefty penalties. So supporters argue that these new rules could finally bring order to a sector long scarred by violence and loopholes. But drivers warn that plastering their details on car doors makes them easier targets, not just for criminals, but also for taxi drivers who have clashed with e-hailing since day one. So yeah, after years of operating in the grey zone, the industry is now firmly in the crosshairs. Piece by piece, artificial intelligence is creeping into industries that we don't usually associate with algorithms. And now, it is knocking on the door of property development. So right now, Cape Town's planners drown in reportedly 2,000 applications a month, and many of them are so routine they're practically guaranteed approval. And so what the city has decided to do is scrap 9 of those always approved categories, from boundary walls to minor home extensions, to help free up capacity for the bigger, more complex cases. But the bigger headline here is what comes next. You see, Mayor Jordan Hill-Lewis says that the city is exploring whether AI could one day process simple approvals automatically. So imagine your garage extension cleared instantly by machine learning rather than waiting 9 months for paperwork. Developers say that delays can add millions in costs that eventually hit buyers. And so faster approvals, whether human or digital, could be one of the most direct fixes to South Africa's housing crunch. And before we cruise on to our Bagel Bite of the day, here's a couple other headlines worth knowing. For starters, Parliament has heard government fail to deliver on Ramaphosa's 2019 promise of digital learning for every pupil by 2025. Connectivity gaps, funding shortfalls, and teacher shortages means thousands of schools remain offline, despite billions already spent on devices and classrooms. Just across the border, a US lawmaker wants Zimbabwe locked out of IMF and World Bank loans until it pays $3.5 billion owed to white farmers for seized land. The bill would force full repayment within 12 months, no local bonds allowed. And South African companies are piling into Namibia as oil and gas findings transform its economy. Bidvest is expanding its cargo facilities, banks are eyeing big projects, and law firms are even setting up shop, all chasing a resource windfall. And on to our Bagel Bite of the day, a location that still sits high on my bucket list. The question is, which empire built the Machu Picchu citadel in Peru? Was it A, the Inca, B, the Maya, or C, the Aztec? Bonus points if you know in what century it was built. And on to our wildcard section. We've just stepped into spring, and in the Western Cape, that means one thing. The West Coast is in peak flower season. So from August through September, the scrubby veldt flips overnight into rolling fields of color. Winter rains prime the soil, spring sunshine coaxes the plants above ground, and suddenly daisies, nemesias, babianas, and other bulbs unique to the Cape floristic region just explode into bloom. It's dramatic but also pretty fleeting. By October, the summer heat usually wipes the canvas clean. Now, the hotspot, though, is the West Coast National Park, especially the Postberg section, which only opens up during flower season. It's this short drive from Cape Town where the hillsides look painted in orange, yellow, and purple. I mean, Darling and Jacobs Bay also deliver, with reserves that protect critically endangered rhinosterveldt, now glowing with wildflowers. But now here's the thing, it's already mid-September and you've probably only got a few days left before the show finally fades. So if you've been meaning to see it, this is your moment. Wait too long and it's gone until next year. And as for that Bagel Bite, the answer is the Inca Empire. Now, what makes Machu Picchu so remarkable is that it was built in the 15th century without wheels, iron tools, or even mortar. I mean, these stones are cut so precisely that they fit together like puzzle pieces, surviving earthquakes for over 500 years. And my friends, that's it for today's show. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is your weekly reminder that if you do prefer your news on the go, whether you're driving, cycling, or taking up a Pilates class, you can find us on both Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Links to both those are either in our description below or our bio. I hope you guys have a great day further. Be kind to one another, and I'll catch you all tomorrow for the next round of the good stuff. Cheers.